Hi everyone, welcome to yet another BDotnet Wednesday Hangout session. BDotnet Wednesday Hangout is a community initiative by Bangalore .NET user group. The idea here is a simple: bring in a speaker every Wednesday to talk about a developer related topic, and we use Google Hangout to record this session and stream it live at YouTube. You can watch all the previous Hangout sessions at our BDotnet YouTube channel. The URL to watch the previous videos is youtube.com/b.net tv. This month is a SharePoint month where B.net together with SharePoint Bangalore user group will be hosting a series of SharePoint sessions. Today we have our speaker Sarath, who will be speaking about search improvements in SharePoint 2013. Sarath is a SharePoint technical architect currently working for Microland, Bangalore. Without wasting much time, I hand over this session to Sarath.
Yeah, thanks, Senthil. Good evening, everyone. Welcome for today's session on SharePoint 2013 search improvements. So this is what we will be covering in today's session. So search is one of the major driver of or one of the major drivers or reasons for adopting SharePoint in any organization, and every version of SharePoint, be it starting from Portal Server 2003 onwards, you will find that there are a lot of changes architecturally as well as improvements that has happened to the search workload in SharePoint. And this particular version of SharePoint 2013, search is a key player. The key reason being it is a core service, which means it impacts your document management capabilities, your web content management capabilities, and most other workloads of SharePoint is very tightly integrated with search, and in a way we can say is dependent on search. So today we're going to have a look into some of the key features as well as the improvements which has happened to search, starting with the UI. So from a user perspective, end user perspective, there are a lot of changes which we'll be discussing, and some of those user experiences need some configuration. So we will have a look into what all those configuration options which is improved in 2013, specifically with respect to certain new web parts, especially like content search web part and various other refining options. Then we'll get into the search architectural changes. So when I say architectural changes, one of the key things that's new is we don't have any separate fast search, but SharePoint search, the brain behind running SharePoint search is your fast search, which means most of the fast search components are now part of your SharePoint 2013 search. We'll have a look into the physical architecture, the various components of it, and then finally how to extend your search capabilities for powering your needs. Be it an internet facing site or an intranet portal that you're running, how to extend the search capabilities. So these are the common topics which we will be looking into in today's session. So key changes: one, search core. What it means is that be it your SharePoint 2013 which is running in your on-prem environment or running in Office 365, or even Exchange 2013 utilizes the common search engine. So the search engine that is powering the search needs, in case of Exchange you will be using it for your mailbox query, for searching mail items or whatever that is. It actually uses the search core engine which is developed, and the same search core engine is being used for your on-prem as well as Office 365 SharePoint Online. One installer, one farm, and this was there since 2010. In the case of search, which is a service application which is multi-tenant aware, you can have one search service application and have multiple tenants or multiple customers utilize the same search service application, but the data will be segregated and it's multi-tenant aware. Then, as I mentioned earlier, search is a core service. As I mentioned that most of your SharePoint 2013 features actually depends upon your search. One quick example I could suggest is those of whom have actually tried a feature called cross-site publishing in SharePoint. It's actually completely dependent on search. So cross-site publishing means you will need to publish your items, like say for example you can take amazon.com or a flipkart.com website, where you want to actually publish a list of products and you want to sell it. And in such situations what happens is the products that you want to sell, the details about it, like the size, the color, the price, and the description of the product, will be actually keyed in or created by some content author sitting somewhere else, whereas the look and feel of the site will be taken care of someone else. Now, those who are actually publishing the content can simply go ahead and create a list in SharePoint and upload images, add the details about the product in a SharePoint list, and you can publish that content uh, and make it appear in your product website. This is called cross-site publishing. Now, for this cross-site publishing, you will need to have search working, which means that it uses the search index for getting this cross-site publishing working. Now, cross-site publishing is a major feature pushing the WCM or web content management capabilities in 2013. So it depends on your search. Now, same way, talking about your enterprise content management capabilities, there are various changes which has happened. We will be seeing that there are a couple of refiners options that has improved, and how it impacts social in the upcoming slides, as well as there is a demo on how the social features are actually dependent on search. Flexible deployment with robust fault tolerance. So we will discuss about the high availability components as well as how to deploy so that all your search components are highly available in 2013 towards the end of the session. Now, since I mentioned about deployment of SharePoint search components, one major change that you will see is till 2010 SharePoint, you will find that it's possible for us to go ahead and uh, make any changes in the topology of search schema from the central administration of your SharePoint 2010 environment. Whereas in 2013, that's no longer possible. If you want to make any change in search schema, you need to go ahead and run it using PowerShell commands. You need to go ahead and provision individual search components. You need to go ahead and clone your search topology and add your components. What all those components we'll be discussing soon. But uh, the key reason why Microsoft had done that is because that when you in 2010, whenever you make any changes to the search schema, like adding a particular component, what used to happen was from UI it used to time out, and it will take a long time, like 20 to 30 minutes, and then if the administrator feels that it is not working properly, he might cancel that operation. So in order to avoid all such mishappenings, it's only possible to change a search topology via PowerShell in 2013. There is no UI mechanism for it. We'll be talking about some of the search web parts and how to configure it. So let's get started with the end user experience and what is improved in 2013. So this screenshot clearly shows that we have the search center, which is a single search box where you will find various result sources. Now, a result source is a new term in 2013. I would say it is a combination of your scopes capability as well as your federated search capability. In 2010, we used to have dedicated search scopes which can be created, which means you will tell the query that which location it should go ahead and check for the results. So if I have created 3 different scopes, local SharePoint results, or a people scope for searching for user profiles, as well as I can have something like a video or an image scope created where it will only search for those videos or images. And that's what is called as a scope in 2010. Now 2013, it's called as result sources. It's not just a name change, but there are various additional features which is associated with the result source. Now, talking about 2010, we had the capability of adding federated locations. Like if you want to add a search option from internet, like a Google or a Bing search component, it's possible for you to create a federated search and then simply go ahead and add it in your search results page so that you will get the federated results appearing integrated in your search results page. Now in 2013, what happens is the result sources will take care of the federated locations itself. So whenever you add a Bing search as a result source, it will automatically bring it and show it to you. So result sources does two roles. One is federated search plus your search scope functionality. Now, on top of it, one major change which has happened is something called as a query transform. So before going to the query transform, there is one thing which I missed to mention. If you have a remote SharePoint farm and you want to query that content from a remote SharePoint farm, it is possible for you to simply go ahead and mention in your scope or a federated location in 2010 and provide an account which will go ahead and crawl that particular SharePoint index. But in 2013, it's possible for you to simply mention that the remote SharePoint farm is the result source, and you don't need to provide an account additional for that, and it will go ahead and get that already crawled content as an index in 2013 and use it as a result source, which means it is a serious saving of time and performance. Now, I mentioned that there is a feature called as query transform when I mentioned this. So a query transform is something that is a new capability in 2013, where it's possible for you to say, for example, when I'm adding 4 different result sources, say intranet, Office 365, as you see in screenshot, there are various result sources appearing here. Now, if I want to filter the results coming from each of these query sources or result sources, I can still filter them using a query transform. And I can say that based on the logged in user, say this site.url.this username, then show only this results, which means it improves your performance because it's not sending a large query. It is not going to result a large amount of results and then filter it, but the query itself is actually transformed, so it's going to get only that particular information that is required, and it saves a lot of time. And this is possible only with result sources in 2013. Now we'll talk about as well as see a lot of these result sources and its capabilities during the demo. Now talking about the UI, you will see that so this is the search results page, little more clearly shown here. So whenever I'm searching for a keyword, say green thermal, it's giving me certain suggestions based on the previous keyword search that has happened in SharePoint. And same way, you will see that when I have issued a query with green thermal deck, it understands that I am looking for PowerPoint presentations, and it is showing me that in the top set of results. Now, this is possible because of some functionality called as query rules in SharePoint, which I will show you in a demo. And it understands the intent of the query, and it will show you the correct results in the top section. And same way, when I am choosing the result source as people, it just quickly changes it and shows me those users who are associated with this keyword green thermal. Say for example, if I want to find out people who has got expertise with this particular keyword, it goes ahead and brings that information. And same way, it will be able to provide you information on whether they have worked on any documents which includes this particular keyword. Another important thing is the deep refiners or the keywords that you see here. So these deep refiners are so if you have a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation where you have created sections within it, and you have tagged these as section title, or you have a Word document where you have different pages with headings which are in bold and underlined, then SharePoint, when it does the crawl, it understands that, it goes through the documents and it understands that these are all sections or keywords which needs to be uh, categorized, or it needs to be taken out, and these are called deep refiners. So this works very well with your Word documents as well as with PowerPoint. And whenever you create any sections within your PowerPoint presentations or within your Word document, those keywords are actually crawled and saved as deep refiners in SharePoint 2013. So this will be used in many places, which I'll show you in another screenshot. So again, these deep refiners can be added as keywords, and it will appear on the left hand side refinement panel. Now, I was telling you about the social experience and the influence of search. So based on the common interactions or the common queries that you make, it will be able to tell you the people or suggest you some people whom you should follow. Say every day if I am searching for an information on uh, SharePoint or say .NET, then it will suggest me few people who are actually having expertise or who are constantly contributing some information about those two keywords, and suggest me those people names on the right hand side whenever I am logging into my site. So your social experience is again powered by your search. All right, so let's quickly get into configuring the user experience. So search UI configuration needs, these are all the key things which we will need to discuss whenever we talk about the UI configuration. Something called as result type. So we'll see that in the demo. What happens is whenever, just to show you what is a result type, let me quickly show this PPT. So we have a new capability called as display template in 2013, where what you see here is a display template for PowerPoint presentation. On the right hand side, it's called as a hover window, and this particular highlighted portion, which I'll show you, is what is called as a display template. There will be an image associated with it, a description of that particular document. In this case, it's a PPT, a summary of it, and the path to that particular PPT, the file type, and the title of that thing, that particular document. So this is a display template for PowerPoint. So whenever SharePoint search results provide you a PowerPoint document, it will show you this much information: the file type, the title of that particular PPT, the preview image, the summary of the document, and the path or the URL. Now there are two other templates. One is called as a hover panel template. So this can also be modified. So all these three templates power the user experience of any SharePoint search result page. Now in this case, this hover panel template, which will help us to hover through that particular PowerPoint presentation, and you will be able to quickly glance through that particular document, understand those keywords. Now same way, you will see that there is an option called take a look inside, and it shows certain keywords. Now this is possible because of this deep refiner capability, where it understands those headings or those categories that's mentioned in that particular document, and you will be able to click on that particular um, link, and it will take you directly to that particular page. And the hover panel template has this particular thumbnail view of the document. You will see the last modified, the contributors, and also at the bottom you will find options to directly go to that document library where it is hosted, or edit that particular document and send that as a or share that particular link with some other users. So this is the hover panel template, and this is the display template. And at the bottom is the third template, which is called as a control template. Normally it will have advanced search link, as well as the number of pages where it needs to show this. If the search is not showing any results, then if you want to redirect them to a different page, or suggest them to search from a different search center or a location, you can provide all those links at the bottom here. And any specific preferences you want to mention, you can add this in the control template, and this will appear all along your SharePoint search results page. So these are the three main templates when we talk about the search UI configuration, which powers the search results. Then we will come to the search portability, but before that, I'd like to quickly show you a demo on whatever we have discussed so far. So I'm going to utilize my Office 365 template, Office 365 SharePoint site for this. Um, I hope all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So this is my SharePoint Administration Center. This is my SharePoint tenant, and I've created a site called PV Labs team site. It is a team site template I have used here. Now, just to quickly show you the power of the new search UI, I'm going to search for a keyword, say server. You will see the various search results appearing here. On the left hand side, you will see some author names. Let me search for tags, and you will see that there are documents uploaded by various users, and it provides certain refinement options. I got a tenant where there is more amount of information. I'm going to show you that, and we'll switch back to the other tenant for showing the web parts in the search results page and how we can actually modify the look and feel. So I'm going to click on sales here, and I'm going to perform a search for this keyword. So what you see here is the search results for the keyword sales. Now you will notice the hover panel template has the number of views. This result has been viewed 19 times, and it is a web page, and it is also showing the key results from the sites at departments in sales and marketing. Now I'm going to modify my query here, and I'm going to type sales deck, and as I mentioned, it understands deck is actually something which I'm looking for PPT, and this is because there is a query rule which is running at the back end and ensures that whenever I'm typing in a keyword deck, go ahead and bring on PPT files and show it as a result block. Now we'll come to the query rules in a while, and we'll show another demo on that. Now on the left hand side, you will see that there are various refinements based on the result type, whether it is a community page, whether it is a PDF file, or is a SharePoint site, a Word document, etc. And also you will find the refinement slider panel based on the date at which it was uploaded, and you can actually filter it if you know the particular date when it was uploaded. And at the bottom it will filter the search results, and right now it shows only 8 results. Now I'm going to modify the query again, and I'm going to click on people tab. So it's going to show me those users who are associated with this keyword, and the hover panel view shows the skills associated with those users, their interests, and whatever the information they have filled in their my site profile will automatically appear in this hover panel view. And if I'm looking for this particular person, then I'll go ahead and click and follow that person in my site. So next thing is about conversations. When I click on conversations, it's actually going to show me all those discussions or discussion forums that is created within SharePoint, as well as those community sites where those discussion has happened. So in this case, this keyword sales is actually being referred in a community called as marketing topics, and some of the popular discussions are also appearing here in the overview panel. And same way, if there is any discussion that has happened, you will be able to see the reply as well, recent replies in the discussion list. And if you want to view the discussion in the hover panel, you will be able to see a link directly within that itself. And finally, with the videos, right now it is showing most of the videos, but there are no videos which is having the metadata sales associated with it. Now we saw how the search results page is actually showing a lot of information, including the hover panel and the display template information, etc. Now let's just try editing this page and see how it actually produces this result. So I've just clicked on edit this page, and this is the search results web part which is added on this page, and I'm going to edit this. So this is where I can define the display templates. So I haven't created any custom display template. Say if your organization has a need for a specific display template, say um, my company works on a lot of RFP and contracts or a lot of design files. Now I can create a custom display template and associate that with those particular files. I can create a content type for my RFPs and contracts. I can create a content type with respect to the design files and associate a display template with that particular uh, uh, search result with that particular content type. Now, by default, what all display templates are available, we'll see now. Or if you want to click on customize control display templates, it will open the default display templates. So you will see these are all the default display templates which are appearing, and you will be able to modify them, the PDF item, the PowerPoint item, etc. So we saw for PowerPoint what was or how it showed as the display template. And now that's with the search results web part. Search navigation is slightly different. Search navigation web part, you can go ahead and create a result source and simply go ahead and add that. So if you want to modify or add any new result source here, it's possible for you to go ahead and create it in the navigation section, just like your top link navigation. When you go to the site settings navigation portion, you will be able to create a new navigation and associate that with the result source, and you will be able to choose that or add that particular search navigation right within the search navigation web part here. Same way with refinement panel. If I want to modify or add more refinements, I'll be able to choose additional refiners. If I want to choose a new refiner, so in order to add more refiners, we need to have it associated with a metadata, sorry, a managed property. So there are two types of properties. One is a crawled property and the other one is a managed property. Now whatever items that gets crawled becomes a crawled property. Now in order to make it a refiner, I'll need to map it with a particular managed property. So in this case, it's possible for us to go ahead and create a managed property and make it, appear for company extraction, I mean to say company name extraction or any other refinements which is required. And these are all the various available refiners what you see here by default, and you will be able to map any particular or you can add any additional refiner and see what is the search results. It will query for those values if you are adding that particular refiner, and save it. So tomorrow if I want to add a new refiner, say based on say I have multiple domains within my organization and I want to add a refiner of that particular domains or domain name, I can simply go ahead and create a managed metadata term set with all those domain names and define a managed property, and I can use that as a company name extraction option, and I can add that as a refiner in my refinement panel web part, and I will ensure that whenever a search query is being made, that particular company or domain name option is also appearing as a refinement panel. So that's with the search results page. I'm gonna check this back in, and we'll quickly move on to a demo on query rules. So we saw how the query is able to understand the intent of the user. Say for example, I showed you the sales deck option and it was showing me the PPTs. Now the same way, I'm going to issue a query. So this is my tenant pvlabs.sharepoint.com. Previously I showed you an example of a query tax, and it brought me two documents, a tax return document and an invoice. Now this is the time of the year when most of us will be filing taxes. So if the HR decides that all of the users who are searching for anything related to tax returns or ITR should be present with a best bet, or at the top itself it should be showing those useful links which is required for your tax returns. In such case, what we can do is we can utilize this query rules capability. Now I'm going to go down to site settings and click on what is called query rules. By the way, if you notice, in 2013 we have so many options appearing right within our site collection itself. So this was not possible in case of SharePoint 2010. We can't define a result type, or we won't be able to create a query rule, or add any results sources. Now this power is with the site collection administrator as well as a site collection designer. Now previously this was possible only for a search service application administrator, and he will only be able to add any new changes to the result type, or if you want to change something with respect to query, that was only possible for a search service application administrator. Now with the intent of pushing things to online, Microsoft has ensured that site collection administrator will also be able to go ahead and make changes to their queries. So if you notice, I am making this change on this particular site, tvlabs.sharepoint.com, and I'm going to create a new query rule for this particular site. Now there is a dedicated search center which I have created, but the difference is I'm going to only target the local SharePoint results in this case. But if I want to modify it in search center page, I will go ahead and make the query rule apply that particular search center site. Now in here I'm going to choose the local SharePoint search results as the source, and I've just created a location, or just a position for creating this particular rule which I was mentioning, that is to push any tax or IT returns related links at the top of the search result. Now by default I have mentioned that if the query contains the keyword tags, I can also mention ITR, or I can mention tax returns. It should be a semicolon separated, whatever keywords it should use. And then, or if it's also possible to check with the dictionary. So if you actually go here under the term store and say the search, this is the tenant administration page where I am, you'll be able to create and modify a list of terms which can be used as in search dictionary. So I have various company names added here in the company inclusion in the search dictionary, and if I need to have any of those information, people name or any other search dictionary terms, I can import it directly from that term store and use it in my query rules. So this is the condition I'm mentioning, that if the query contains one of these phrases, be it tax, ITR, or tax returns, then go ahead and perform this. I'm gonna perform an action. I have two options. One is a promoted results, which means whenever you search for that keyword, it will show you certain results at the top of your search results page as promoted. Or I can add a result block. So a result block is like how you saw that PPTs, whenever I searched for sales deck, it was showing in one angle, one big bracket, that this entire set of results is on PowerPoint presentations, which is associated with the keyword that you are searching for. That is a result block. Now I'm going to create a promoted results in this case. Clicked on promoted results, so it's asking for a title. I have mentioned as tax filing assistance, and a URL. I'm going to give income tax India e-filing.gov.in. Now this is where normally a lot of confusion occurs. We had a feature called as best bets in search in 2010. Now visual best bets, I mean to say, visual best bets used to be like an icon or an image will be associated with a link, and it will appear at the top of your search results. Now if I choose render the URL as a banner instead of as a hyperlink, we would assume that it will go ahead and render this income tax India e-filing page